Welcome to Beijing, the capital of China. This country basically changed the course of my life. When I was 19, I traveled to China for the first time. It was my very first country I visited in Asia, and my mind was completely blown. By the time I returned back home to Russia, I understood I want something different, so I dropped out of my university, I left my hometown in Siberia, and I enrolled to Chinese language classes at one absolutely random Chinese university in a city I've never heard of before. And that was the first step that led me to calling Asia my home. But since moving out of my hometown, I didn't really get chance to see my family often. So my mom and I, we developed our new tradition to meet somewhere, at least once a year if we are lucky enough, and explore a new destination together. This is one of these trips, so join us for 4 days in the capital of China. This is the most logistically difficult trip in my life. I'm flying to China from Phnom Penh, the capital of Cambodia, and my mom, she's departing from Moscow, the capital of Russia. None of us have visa for China. I'm hoping that we can enter and travel China holding a transit visa. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, this is your Captain Niki speaking. Thank you for choosing my channel as your mode of online entertainment. Please prepare yourself a cup of tea or coffee or whatever delicious thing you like to drink. We are now landing in Beijing. We took the airport train to the city. It was around 8 AM and the city looked polluted. This is the first time my mom visiting Beijing, and it is the first time I'm visiting here after like 10 years since my previous trip. We headed straight to our hotel. For this trip we stayed at Beijing Hotel, part of JTV by Hyatt Collection. They kindly invited me and my mom to stay here during our time in Beijing, and honestly it was such a great experience. The hotel was super comfortable, the team was so welcoming, and the location made it easy to explore the city. I wanna say big thanks to the Hyatt team for hosting us. It definitely made our short stay in Chinese capital feel extra special. I have no idea how to navigate around the city. The capital of China seems so huge and it's so difficult to pick just a place to go somewhere. For our first day, we decided to take it slow and just walk around one of Beijing's most unique features, the hutons. Some hutons have turned into trendy spots with cozy coffee shops and bars, some random boutique stores, but others remain residential, giving you a glimpse into real everyday life of the city. Walking through them feels like stepping back in time. It's so quiet here and honestly I feel a bit intrusive walking here with my camera and taking shots of what is basically a home for people who live here. There are so many little unique details here, like the way local people protect their parked cars. The streets are really narrow and people use random stuff to cover and shield their vehicles. It's exactly this sort of ordinary, everyday moments that can be very common at one place and you will not see anywhere else. I really like seeing these sort of things when I travel abroad. This was really fun, getting to see this quieter, more traditional side of Beijing. And we didn't do much else today, we just wandered aimlessly through this very touristy part of the city and came back to our hotel early, because next day was going to be a big day. We planned to explore the Forbidden City. While staying in Beijing, we mostly used subway to navigate around the city, and subway system here is built in a very interesting way. There are security scanners and metal detectors at every subway entrance across the country. It is just a part of daily routine here, you kinda get used to it, but once you get inside the subway it looks pretty much familiar. There is a machine for buying tickets. I used it in Chinese language and paid with my phone using a WeChat, but there is an option for English and cash payment payment too. The subway overall looked very clean and easy to navigate, and soon we arrived at our stop, Tiananmen, the closest station to the Forbidden City. We just got into the line out of subway, but it's not for returning the subway ticket, it's actually for checking the Shenfenzhen, the Chinese ID card, and the passports, and there's a lot of people waiting in line here. I think this passport control is only a thing here at Tiananmen station. I've never seen anything like that in other stations in Beijing or anywhere else around China. Getting through all this made me a little peckish, so before heading to the Forbidden City, we stopped for a quick snack.
Hello，
你好，
哎，要哪个？这5块钱吧啊，这点的10块，这个15层的，要10块的是吧？
对，
好，10块钱。好，我了5块了啊，妹妹要啥妹妹？好，我了。
啊，谢谢。
从哪里来的？
我们是俄罗斯人。
俄罗斯啊？
对对对。
是哇，
对
我宝贝，我的天啊！
你是北京人吗？
我不是北京，我是在马来西亚。
马来西亚，哇，那你怎么会说中文呢？
啊，我们有读中文啊，会说英文，会说马来文，会说广东话。
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
I really like tanghulu, but I never tried this particular thing. I have no idea even how to say this one in English. Cheers, guys. This little snack is pure joy, just like most of Chinese cuisine. I'm so excited to have more food later, but for now, we have arrived to the Forbidden City. The Forbidden City is one of the most iconic landmarks in all of China. For centuries, that's been home for emperors and their royal courts, completely forbidden to ordinary people, and today this place is full of tourists making all sorts of photos. A lot of people all around, and honestly guys, I haven't been to a place where I had to wait such a long queue for a very long time already. This palace is huge, it's literally the biggest palace complex in the world, not just in China, in the world, and it's also a damn old one. My absolute favorite thing about this Forbidden City is how Chinese people name everything around here. Like this Palace of Great Brilliance, or Palace of Accumulated Purity, or Palace of Prolonged Happiness. There are all kinds of palaces here, and I started to think, if I were an emperor and I had to name like a palace, and there were already all kinds of palaces here, what name could I pick? Maybe I will name it the Palace of Unshakable Calmness, or Palace of Slow Mornings. And my mom, she said she will name her palace a Palace of Rational Thinking. Guys, think about it. If you had to name a palace, how would you name it? Write this in the comments. You know, the Palace Museum is interesting and all, but I just found the most interesting place personally for me, a little souvenir store inside the Palace Museum. They have a lot of really cool postcards. Some postcards are just beautiful here, some are very unique. I really like this cat. But these kind of things, like I've never seen postcards like this, twice or even 3 times the size of typical postcard. And yet, you can put here the postal stamps and probably, hopefully, it's gonna be delivered as a regular postcard. I just got 2 of each kind. I have no idea if I'll be able to mail them normally, but if this will be possible to mail, that's gonna be a very limited edition to my Patreon members. Yeah guys, if you want to support me and my channel, please consider joining my Patreon community. I'm really glad people helping me out with that. And sometimes I drop something like this for them.
不要，然后那药品我只说瑞士，星巴克我也不知道。
I can talk about Chinese food for hours. It's so diverse and every region has its own specialties and flavors. Beijing and northern China in general has its own thing going on too. I saw so many different foods and really wished my stomach had more capacity. We tried some home-style dishes like these northern-style dumplings and my favorite way of cooking eggplants. We also had some street food, like this raw jiamo, which is basically a crispy bread bun filled with juicy beef and some greens. It comes really spicy on default, so ask for less pepper. My mom went for a noodle soup with dumplings, and we also tried some random local stuff, but there is one meal that really stands out in Beijing, something you have to try when you're here. I'm talking about the Beijing duck. I am super excited to try this Beijing duck. We've been hanging out around that forbidden city for long hours. We passed by our lunchtime a lot. Very starving now, and this place looks so delicious.
然后第三种的话是比较创新的一种吃法，也是选取张鸭饼，然后铺在盘子的正上方，一片鸭肉，海棠酸梅酱是海棠和山楂果制成的特色小酱，然后哈密瓜条，黄瓜条，然后同样采用婴儿折叠法，由下至上，由左至右。
Take a piece of Beijing duck and you dip it in one of those sauces, maybe add some little things from here, and then you put everything on top of these thin pancakes, which are really thin, and each of them, I think, covered by a piece of paper. We also ordered a mix of traditional Beijing appetizers. My mom had lion's head meatball soup, whatever it is, she liked that, and I had duck blood vermicelli soup. It might sound intense, but blood is traditional ingredient here. It's firm, it's chewy, it's really nutritious, and I think it tastes really good. This drink is incredibly delicious, and I have no idea what is that. I'll have to look into the menu once again to understand what is that. But it tastes a little bit sweet, and it's served hot, which will make it ideal dessert drink. But I got served it right in the beginning of our lunch. And over here is literally the weirdest thing that I might possibly eat in this place. That is the duck tongue and half of the duck head. And honestly, guys, I do not understand how to eat this thing. For me, it's just pure bones. It's like half of the head, and there is nothing to eat here. But this tongue, I'm willing to give it a try. It doesn't look bad, and I never tried a duck tongue in my life. It tastes very much like liver. We had so much food, and the total bill was under $50. And there is no tipping culture here in China. I think this is such a good value for the experience we had today. Remember the opening shot of this video? That was our first day in Beijing, and the city looked really polluted. And you might think that this is typical Beijing or typical China, but it's actually more of a stereotype, and I think it's something interesting to share about. Air quality is measured by Air Quality Index, or AQI, which basically shows you the amount of tiny particles in the air, particles that can seriously affect the health of your lungs. It's a scale from 0 to 500. Anything below 50 is considered to be good. AQI of 50 to 100 is moderate, 100 to 150 is unhealthy, and anything beyond 150 is considered to be very unhealthy or even hazardous. Air pollution is a major issue in China, and the government acknowledged this problem about a decade ago, and they did a lot of things trying to reduce the pollution in their country. Just look at what Beijing was 10 years ago compared to this year. Back then, it was just streaks of unhealthy days with very bad pollution, with very small amount of good days. And it is just the opposite this year. Most of the days are good with not much pollution, but we still managed to arrive to Beijing in the only very unhealthy streak in March. And imagine how happy I was to wake up to this AQI 59 view on the very day we had our Great Wall trip planned. This moment was really exciting. Seeing the Great Wall for the first time, it looked like a snake going up the mountain. I never really learned how long is the Great Wall. I just knew it's very, very long. Like, try to test yourself and tell me, what is the length of the Great Wall now? So there is this number, 21,196 kilometers, which is more than half of the Earth's circumference. That's a very long wall. But what this number actually means, it includes every known segment of the Great Wall ever built across Chinese history, including all reconstructions. So if one dynasty built a segment of the wall and another dynasty centuries later repaired, renovated that section of the wall, then this segment of the wall is counted twice, sometimes even 3 times. Still, the scale of this project is unimaginable for me. Like, people worked on it for thousands of years, and now we have a chance to see these unique constructions that goes for thousands and thousands kilometers. Some parts of the wall today are just ruins, others have been restored for tourists. There are many different sections you can visit, and the most crowded one is Badalin, but the one we are visiting today is Shuiguan, a lesser known, fully restored section near the commune by the Great Wall, where we are gonna stay overnight today. Just wow, guys. I did not expect this. Just an hour away from Beijing. The Great Wall is somewhere around. I cannot see it from my balcony, but what I can see is really quiet forest. That's the building we are staying, one shared villa, and I believe our room is like right behind the corner. Man, it's so quiet here. It's like gives perfect balance after visiting really loud, bustling, active Beijing. And just an hour away by the Great Wall, having a quiet stay here. We might be going right over there. Or maybe there. Haven't decided yet. 你好，有2张票啊。Check this out, guys. Millions of people were stepping on this stair, and now it has this wavy shape. Guys, it is so quiet here. Literally the only alien voice in the area is my voice. And if I keep silent, I can hear the birds, I can hear the wind, and I cannot hear anything else. It is somewhat unbelievable to have a piece of Great Wall just for ourselves. I've been avoiding going to the Great Wall of China for many years when I lived in China because I had that pictures of big crowds taking all available space by the wall, like big sea of people. But here, literally nobody. Like, this part of the wall is for me and my mom. That part of the wall, I saw 3 Chinese men going there. It is a unique experience of being here, like, just ourselves. And a camera. A lot of cameras. Like, when you're staying in China, every single place cameras are watching you. Отдыхаешь? Check out how tall these stairs are. Like, look at the height of this stair. It's at least 40 centimeters, maybe beyond that. This is a really steep climb right now. I found something weird here right in front of me, and I'm pretty sure you guys are much smarter than I am, so maybe somebody could explain me what is this for. Like, you see these tires? Why these tires are here? Is it because it's very steep climb? So if somebody falls from all the way, is it supposed to soften their fall? Or what is it for? I hope nobody ever experienced the fall from this section of the wall. It's really steep here, and you can see everything around. You see this place? This is where our section of the Great Wall ends. We cannot go anywhere farther. There's like a small metal fence. No admittance here, even though I do see some trash bins. You see over there, some trash bins. So The last thing that we wanted to experience before leaving Beijing was a traditional Chinese tea ceremony, but I didn't plan it properly, I didn't make a reservation, and it was our last evening in the city. I was already starting to feel like maybe we missed our chance. But we got really lucky. We showed up at one tea house when the owner was literally locking the doors, but instead of turning us away, she welcomed us in and made time for us. Her name is Alice. She is originally from Fujian, one of China's most famous tea-growing provinces. She has a deep passion for tea, which led her to become a tea master, and now Alice runs her own tea house in Beijing.
From Whitings City.
Alice treated us 3 very different kinds of Chinese tea. We started with Da Hong Pao, a classic oolong tea from Wuyi Mountains. This was Alice's favorite, and I could see why. This tea has that perfectly balanced roasted flavor. It's not too strong, not too light, the taste is just right. This is exactly how I imagine a traditional Chinese tea should taste like. Before we tried the next tea, Alice told us about 3 simple rules for making Chinese tea the right way.
If you want to make the tea delicious, 3 points is very important. 1 is how many green tea to how much water. For example, green tea, if you make it in a glass cup, it's 1 green tea to 50 milliliter water. And for black tea, in a pot, it's 1 green tea to 30 milliliter water. Then the second point is water temperature. For green tea, we need lower temperature like 85 degrees. But for the pu'er tea, we need boiling water. For oolong tea, we need boiling water. Then the third is how many seconds you keep the leaves with water. Green tea, 10 to 15 seconds. White tea, 30 or 40 seconds. Oolong tea, only 5 seconds.
Only 5 seconds?
Yes.
Oh, that's so fast.
Yes.
Next was silver needle, a type of white tea in China. It's only made from the young, unopened buds of the tea plant, no leaves, just the fresh tips, which makes it quite expensive. And the taste is very delicate, almost sweet. It is that kind of tea that you will only appreciate if you love subtle flavors. And finally, we tried a smoked tea, the absolute opposite of the silver needle. The leaves of the smoked tea are dried over pine wood fires, which gives it a deep, earthy flavor. It is something quite unusual if you never had it before, and I had that funny feeling while drinking it. With every tiny cup, I felt like getting a little bit tea drunk. I'm so grateful to Alice for staying with us until this late time, and this tea evening turned out to be the perfect final note of our time in China. The next morning, we were already on our way to the airport heading to South Korea. This kind of trip felt really different from all the other ways I've traveled. I mostly travel alone, sometimes with my friends, sometimes with my partner, but traveling with my mom is still something new to me, and it brought a different kind of joy, a deeper, more fulfilling feeling. I'm just really happy we made this trip happen, and honestly, you are a big part of that, because without this channel, without your support, I would not be able to do something like this.